Hey guys, what's going on? This is Nate here, and I just want to start off this video by apologizing to you guys for not getting a Thursday Thoughts video uploaded this week. I had some conflicts and was unable to do so, but nonetheless, it is now Saturday, February 4th. So I'll start off this video by talking about the recent patent battle loss that Apple had this week with Motorola. And basically, what happened was Apple had to stop selling some of their 3G compatible devices on their German online retail store. So this included some of the 3G compatible iPads, the iPhone 3GS, as well as the iPhone 4. But this ban didn't really last too long at all. All Apple had to do was purchase some licensing rights for these patents that they were infringing upon with Motorola, and they could continue selling these devices. But this marks the first significant patent battle loss that Apple has had thus far, and I think it'll be interesting to see here what Apple wants to continue doing, because companies are starting to lash back at Apple for all of the lawsuits that they are filing against them. But Steve Jobs did say in his biography that he would waste all of his money in order to try and remove of the Android platform because he believes that it completely ripped off of iOS. This week, Apple issued a whole bunch of new software updates. We'll start off with macOS 10.7.3, and this update brought some new language support as well as some bug fixes. Apple also issued an update for the Airport Utility application that gives it a new interface that looks much like the Airport Utility app for iOS. So this new interface is much more streamlined and allows you to access a lot more wireless settings within a single window instead of having to have a lot of windows open. And then they also issued updates for Final Cut Pro 10, Motion, and Compressor, and I think the most significant feature out of the update for those applications is the multicam editing. A lot of people were frustrated that this feature was not included in Final Cut Pro 10 when it was released last year. This week, some images surfaced of an iPod Nano prototype with a hole for a 1.3 megapixel camera. Now, the report that came along with this image states that Apple is looking to refresh the iPod Nano sometime this March or April with this new camera built in. Now, in the past, we've seen some other iPod Nano prototypes with a possible spot for a camera. I don't know if this is something that Apple's really going to want to do. I know the iPod market is dying. A lot of people are looking to purchase devices such as the iPhone and the iPad. I think the iPod Touch is still a good device for them to keep around, but I don't know if adding a camera to an iPod Nano is really a selling point or really what they're trying to go for there. I think their point of the iPod Nano and the iPod Shuffle at this point are just to keep a small sort of music player around for people who need a device of that size. Let's say they're working out. I think it's great for that market, but adding a camera to it I don't think is really a good selling point, especially if it's only 1.3 megapixels. The experience with it won't be very good at all. As January came to a close this year, Apple stock has gained over 50 points, which has increased its price by 13%. And much of this success is due to Apple's recent earnings call where they announced record sales for a lot of their products. And I think their stock is just going to continue to go upward this year as they announce new products such as the iPad 3 and the iPhone 5. So to wrap up this video, I'll talk about the iPad 3 as well as the iPhone 5. So this week, reports for the iPad 3 are now saying that it's going to be announced and launched sometime in March. A lot of reports beforehand were hoping that it would take place sometime in February, but at this point it doesn't seem too likely. Also this week on BoyGeniusReport.com, some images were posted from Apple's iBoot development software, which shows references to an iPad 3 with a quad-core A6 chip and LTE support. Next, we'll talk about the iPhone 5. So a lot of analysts are saying that this device is going to be launched at WWDC 2012. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it does seem a little bit unlikely since the iPhone 4S won't have been out that long. Also then, on Moscone's calendar event schedule, they do show dates of June 10th through the 15th as a conference meeting taking place, and usually these conference meetings are placeholders for Apple's WWDC event, but I think more than likely we will see iOS 6 announced at this event as well. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Please like it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.